All right. Yep.
Number 32, Colin Kemp. Number 40, Marcus Mason. Number 41, Victor Lau. Number 48, Thomas Coolidge. Number 64, Tariq Akuri.
Yeah, Terry.
Ben Nelson.
Yeah, Ben Nelson.
Right. Brandon.
Yeah, Colin.
Jack Kelly. Number 80, Kevin Stanton. A big round of applause to the Radicals for making the trip down here to the hot city of Indianapolis.
The Indianapolis AlleyCats have played few, if any, regular season games with more significance than the game they will play this evening against AUDL Midwest Division juggernaut, the Madison Radicals. The AlleyCats came into the game with a solid 7-2 record and a chance to steal first place in the division, but the Radicals have never lost a game to the AlleyCats and no doubt don't plan to start doing so tonight. I'm Bird Phillips, and with me in the booth for this Universe Point Productions broadcast is AlleyCats alum Alex Hutton. Alex, how you doing?
I'm great. First, I want to give a shout-out to all the amazing fathers out there. Of course, you, Mr. Bird Phillips, our producer, Heath Shanahan. Of course, my father out there, Donald Lee Hutton. I wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there.
Heath Shanahan from Universe Point Productions in the booth with us, as always, commanding the ship. So, Alex, the AlleyCats lost earlier this season to the Radicals in outdoor conditions. It was cold, wet, and windy. Will playing indoors tonight help them against this team that they've never beaten?
Well, I think the easy answer has to be yes, because you would think that it's going to make something difficult for the Radicals, who like to play sort of an aggressive style of zone defense. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that really plays out. I think it's just something where, like I said, the easy answer is yes, but we'll just kind of see how it goes throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, you look down, if you can see on the broadcast, if you look at the two teams, the obvious size difference between the Radicals and the AlleyCats is right there in front of you.
Sure.
So we'll see if the speed of the AlleyCats, though, on this indoor surface and with no wind can give them some benefit this week. The other thing is the Radicals, they played last night in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think they won 25-20 against a Pittsburgh team that's really kind of fallen off the map this year. And they played 2 times last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just something with any sport. It'll be interesting. I know the AlleyCats haven't played in a while, and the Radicals have had – this will be their 4th game in the last few weekends, and so that could be a factor. I know that the Radicals have kind of shifted around some things roster-wise, and so maybe they've been doing some things strategically here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, the AlleyCats, we certainly know, have a young athletic team. And, I mean, they've been hanging with them. We know that you and I have called a lot of the games recently between the Radicals and the AlleyCats, and I think it's going to be something to where, I think we've also mentioned in our previous broadcast sort of the focus that they've really tried to stress this season. So I think, with the Radicals having played a lot of games, those few things that we talked about there, just with the athleticism that the AlleyCats have and the focus they've been sort of stressing this season could really all play in their favors.
Yeah, in every game that we've seen between the AlleyCats and the Radicals, it seems like the AlleyCats can stay with them through the first half, maybe 3 quarters, and then they just get worn down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a size thing. I don't know if it's that zone defense, but we're going to go to the national anthem. Apologies for the quick break there. We do love to talk here, Alex and I, but gotta take a break during the national anthem, of course. We're back with you now, and I forget what I was saying. I think one of the things that we're going to find out now, though, is whether the AlleyCats can stick it out through this whole game. The last game we saw, they had good, solid endurance, and really seemed to stay with it. Whereas last year, what we saw a lot of times in the losses that they took was they would fall off in that last quarter.
Yeah.
Especially against this Madison team, which is a team that will wear you down. So.
Yeah, and we know that that's discussion that the AlleyCats hear enough, and we know that they're tired of hearing that. I think it's just something to where we'll see if they can go out and prove it. They've had some really close battles with the teams atop the Midwest Division, and I think you've seen sort of a clear separation between the top 3 teams in the Midwest and the other teams. And so I don't know if necessarily this is so much for playoffs in terms of whether they'll make it or not. I think as long as the AlleyCats continue to take care of business, they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so right now I think this is just a game where maybe now that they've put all that off to the side and they don't have to worry about this necessarily hurting them as much in the playoff race in terms of actually making it or not, maybe that will also play into their favor where they can just kind of put that off to the side and say, let's just focus on this being something that we can prove ourselves.
Yeah.
We can take a game from the Radicals. We can put ourselves in first place and potentially give themselves a situation where they get sort of that first round bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, though, and I really think that the AlleyCats have had a big turnaround this season. Like I said, they're 7-2 now, and last year at this time they were maybe the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. But this is one of those games that is going to prove whether or not they've really gotten over the hump.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really that first big test that they're going to face. I mean, can they beat the Radicals in prime conditions?
Yeah.
Catching them on the second half of a 2-game weekend, and they've had a week off, and it's indoors, and everything is set up for them to do this. And now we'll see if they can actually do it.
Yep.
So we're going to have the Radicals pulling to the AlleyCats. The AlleyCats will be going from our right to our left to start this game. And we had some indications early that some of the primary players for the Radicals O-line were not going to be available, and then right before the game we found out that they're all available. So that is a big change for what we thought was going to happen here. We'd like to welcome in anyone in Madison who might be listening to this game. I always say this before all the games. I do my best to get the names right. If I get a few wrong, I apologize.
Yes, I think fans for both teams are obviously going to be in for a treat today with what should be a very competitive game.
Now Jacobs has it for the AlleyCats on the far side. He's got a forehand down the field. He's going big to Brock. Brock on the run. And he is unable to get that. I think that was Pettit Scantling who knocked that away. And that's something we're going to see quite a bit tonight, Scantling on Brock.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know if it looks like the ref was maybe signaling for no foul, but I think that maybe the Madison Radical player called it on himself.
Yeah, good call. Okay, so Brock is going to check this. On the line, he's got a double team. He dumps it.
Yeah, the Radicals it looks like they're putting all their players in the end zone, allowing the AlleyCats to really swing the disc freely right now.
There's Plew. Gets it to Gross and back. They swing it. Brock with a great catch to save that. He's got a man in the end zone wide open. That is Levi Jacobs, and he gets that first score of the game. And it is they're a little fortunate to come away with that point.
Yeah, I was really interested in seeing if the AlleyCats would come out firing, and it did not take them very long to put it deep. And of course, Cameron Brock has the ability to go up and get it, and just wait for the opportunity. And it looked like the Radicals were playing a little bit more zone than man in the end zone there, and Jacobs just sits in that free space and just really waits for the guy with the disc to see him, and of course they're able to get the score.
Yeah, you don't see somebody sneak back into the back on such a short field that often, but he found a spot. Gets that first score of the game. So now the AlleyCats going to pull from left to right. We'll see if the D-line can do something for them.
Looks like with the Spencer Losgar back on defense, I think we saw him playing a lot of offense in the last few games for the AlleyCats, and so he's getting maybe back to his normal standard position on defense here.
Yeah, the AlleyCats without Nick Hutton tonight, and he's one of their prime defenders, so that's a big loss for them on the D-line. This Colin Grandin. It's Grandin again with it. Has to dump it. They get it across the middle to Camp. Camp is a name that we've called a lot in the past, and he gets a forehand up.
Oh.
And that was a nice timing play there for the Madison Radicals. Again, I'm trying to see who that is. Very difficult to see those yellow numbers on the white jerseys. I think that was Dave Wiseman. Yep, Dave Wiseman, number 21 with the first score for Madison. No, I'm sorry, that was 84, and we don't even have him on here. 64, Tariq Accuse. Okay, we'll say that. We'll go with that. So it's all tied up 1-1 now. Madison and the Radicals, or the Radicals and the AlleyCats. And a good start to the game for both teams. There's the pull coming down to Plu. Gets it forward to Carpenter. Carpenter looks for that forehand. Dumps it back to Plu. Plu to Keegan North. And North, the overhand. Oh, a perfect throw to Brock on the line. Brock unable to get that into the end zone. He's got Jacobs. Jacobs with number 2. He's got the score. It's a nice play from Brock to go get that. And that was Keegan North who really set that up. And he's a guy that we saw in the last game that we called. Really proved himself to be a difference maker, even though this is his first year with the team. So he gets that hammer over the top. Brock trying to stomp that into the end zone, just not able to get there. He makes a nice play to go ahead and get the assist. So Levi Jacobs with 2 points to start this game. The AlleyCats take that early 2-1 lead here in the first with 9:50 to go.
Yeah, we apologize for that earlier. We're in sort of a prime watching position here, but I think it's the back of the jerseys for the Radicals that we're kind of giving us some trouble here, but we will definitely make that more clear going forward here.
Yeah, good start for the AlleyCats, not such a good start for us, me in particular.
Oh, hey, it's all right.
So number 76 now, Colin Grandin.
It's Connor Henderson there that really wanted the layout chance but decided to hold back.
Here's Wiseman with the, I'm sorry. There's Accuse again. And he wants that forehand, has to dump it. Here's Wiseman. Here on the near side, gets the backhand forward. And there is the score, and that is Wiseman. Ties it up. And that was Seth with the assist, number 23 for the Madison Radicals. So trading early punches here, 2-2 now. With about 9 minutes to go in the first. Both teams able to score on both of their chances. That was a nice play.
I think that you just saw that there. I was just trying to figure out where was the defender. I think it was just the double team there that allowed him to be sort of free there in the end zone.
Now we're going to pull from Madison. This is going to be Plu taking it in the end zone. A low pull. He gets an early start. That's Samson with him. Underneath the Keegan North. The AlleyCats moving it easily so far. There's Brock to Jacobs. Jacobs looks for that hammer in the end zone. That was a brilliant play from who else? Rick Rose.
Right.
Goes up and gets that between two defenders. I would say he gets dirty, but we're indoors, so that's, I guess, not an appropriate thing for me to say anymore.
It looked like a great decision at first. It kind of floated on Jacobs there a little bit, but I wasn't sure. It looked like maybe a little bit of contact was made with Gross, and he was still able to come down with it.
Yeah, just
like
perfect
he might have
timing.
caught him on the head coming down, but obviously unintentional. But
yeah,
still a great play from Rick Gross.
So Levi Jacobs really making a name for himself early in this game. He's got 2 scores and an assist. He's been in on all of the points that they've scored. Here's the pull from the AlleyCats. That comes down deep on the far side.
You can see the Radicals really freeing up space for their cutters and put in what we kind of think of as a side stack. I know we're kind of zoomed in on the handlers right now, but now that Radicals have kind of spaced them out, their cutters out on the field.
Here's Grandin. Typically we've seen Andrew Brown, number 11 for the Radicals, who is the primary handler, but he's not on the field so far. He was originally listed as inactive, and that may be actually the case.
There's been a couple switches by the AlleyCats defense on this point, which has really made it hard for the Radicals to take some deep shots, and AlleyCats playing very good man defense right now.
I'm not sure how that wasn't a stall.
No, that was really all thanks to the really just incredible defense the AlleyCats played on that point.
And it's a moot point, though, with Loscar getting the D. So the AlleyCats going to bring it back the other way and look for that first break opportunity. Here's Cox back to Loscar. And Cox has a man in the end zone. He finds him. Perfect throw on the run for the score.
That was a very good point from the AlleyCats. I just was watching. I know that with kind of the camera angle here, everybody out there watching might not have seen it, but everything was shut down. The AlleyCats shut down almost every cut. We'll see if they can really repeat that several times throughout the game, which is obviously always hard and ultimate for any team. But that was just all around an amazing point from the AlleyCats. Just incredible defense, and they really needed to finish that one off with a break, and they did.
That was number 21, Peter Carlton, giving the AlleyCats their first break of the game, and that's big. They go up 4-2 now with 7:31 here to go in the first. And this is something we've seen before, though. The AlleyCats starting strong against this team, then unable to keep that momentum.
Yes. The AlleyCats now putting Travis Carpenter out there for his first D point of the day. So we'll see who he's going to end up guarding.
It's something we've said many times in the past. The Madison Radicals are a team that does not get rattled. Here's the forehand from Wiseman. He's got a man. Carpenter on the run, does not make the effort, though. And there's the pitch, and that's Wiseman with the score. He had the throw that set that up, and he comes down and gets the point. So the Radicals bring that back, 4-3 now. And Wiseman with a good start to this game.
Well, it looked like Carpenter really did a good job of catching up. I think that the disc might have just died on him at the last second, and he really didn't have a chance to kind of go up for it and attack it. And Radicals able to get back on the board there.
That was number 41, Victor Luo, with the assist. We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats. We're back with you. AlleyCats on the move. Brock putting another one over the top, and that's North. Had his hand on it. unable to come down with it. That's Pettit Scantling who knocked that away. So this is the first break opportunity we've seen for the Radicals.
Even indoors, we've seen some interesting hammer throws from the AlleyCats here, and of course the Radicals now able to tie the game back up. But of course, the AlleyCats with sort of a rare chance there with the Radicals with the bad throw, and so now the AlleyCats can again go up too.
Yeah, he floated that out of bounds. I'm not sure if he knew where that line was. It's a little bit difficult to see when you're on the field, I think, that red out of bounds line. So the AlleyCats fortunately coming back the other way now. This is Gross, gets it to the far side to North. North gets that backhand now across midfield.
And what was interesting there on that throwaway from Brock is the Radicals are still playing zone, and of course there again Jacobs. You know what you see there sometimes. If you can get two people there, the AlleyCats had Jacobs and Brock sitting in the back of the zone, and that what's kind of called the monster defender sometimes there can sometimes get split, and you see Brock kind of come in there, and then at that point it kind of causes him to look at Brock, and then of course then he can throw over the top to Jacobs. So it's called kind of what's splitting that last defender, and you know Jacobs is able to just find the open space there and just kind of sit back and wait again and get another score.
Yeah, and a perfect throw from North to recognize that. He had a couple guys in his face, and he finds Levi Jacobs again finding that soft spot behind the back of the zone. That's the second time we've seen that early in this game. And, like we said, he is on a roll. That's his third point of the game. So this comes down to Grandin. There's Andrew Brown. Gets that forehand to the near side to Wiseman. Wiseman does the same and moves it forward. This is Avery Johnson, puts it over the top, saved by Grandin. Good heads-up play from him right there. Now Brown wants that forehand. He's got a man in the middle. That was a Hughes. And that is Camp. And he has it. He is an unbelievably athletic player. We're probably going to see quite a bit of that in this game. Goes down to get that score. So the Radicals moving it back down the field, cutting it to 1, 5-4 now here with 5:07 to go in the first, and we've seen quite a bit of action so far in this game. You see the replay of Camp on the run.
Again, I think it just speaks to the Radicals' skill level. Is the AlleyCats have, I mean, they've been playing, I think, very tight defense today. Their defensive lines have been putting a lot of pressure. As you saw there, a couple of the dump throws back to the handlers were somewhat difficult. And right now, that with the AlleyCats O-line just kind of holding serve, so to speak, has really been the kind of the two things that have, even with a very close one-score game, been the difference so far.
Yeah, the AlleyCats offense has looked very smooth so far in this game and untroubled by this zone. So if they can keep scoring the way they're scoring and the defense can take care of some opportunities, then they may have a shot in this game. There's Keenan Plew going down for the grab. He saves that. Gets it back to Jacobs, who swings it to the far side to Carpenter. There's Samson getting it across the field. North wanting zone again, has to dump it back to Carpenter.
Very good switch there, but then of course Carpenter does a good job of recognizing it.
And look who it is again in the back of the end zone. It's Jacobs with the score. Carpenter finds him from midfield. Jacobs is a machine so far today.
Well, what might have been lost on that was Travis Carpenter did a really good job of recognizing that the Radicals were switching. And you'll see here, so he recognizes the switch, and then he immediately then goes to the break side, and then Jacobs recognizes that and continues his cut to the break side, and the AlleyCats get the score.
Even that pitch back to Carpenter by Keegan North on that play was brilliant. So all cylinders firing for the AlleyCats so far tonight. They take the lead 6-4 up that one break. And the D-line now going to look for a second break opportunity. Comes down to Wiseman. The near side of the end zone, gets it ahead to Brown. And back to Wiseman now. Get it over to Grandin on the far side. Here's Camp at midfield. And Wiseman now directing traffic. You have to be impressed with his size. You just see him on the field. He is a big dude. The Radicals patiently working across midfield now. Brown. And here's Peter Graffey, I believe. Graffey with that forehand. And the Radicals being very patient on this play, taking care of the disc. Seeing a lot of throws completed. And this is what we see a lot of from them, and there's the score in the end zone. That's Wiseman with the score. And that's what we typically see from this team, just very methodical, moving it down the field, short throws, getting those scores, taking their time.
Yep. Very clean point there from Madison.
So now Madison cuts it again to 1, 6-5 for the AlleyCats with 3:01 to go here in the first.
And I think it again, it looked like he thought he was maybe in the end zone. It wasn't quite yet, but I think, as I mentioned before already, just speaks to the margin of error for perhaps both teams today in terms of it being a one-score game. And, of course, there's been the one break, I believe, so far the AlleyCats have. And so, I mean, that really has been obviously the key there.
Now the AlleyCats spreading out to take this. Plew is going to let it float out of bounds. They're going to set this at the brick. He will be the one taking it, I believe. With him in the back is Samson. Easily working through that double team. Here's Carpenter with it now. Back to Carpenter. Looking for that forehand down the field, but doesn't want it. Here's Sohn to Plew here on the near side. Brock with it. He's going to have to dump this. He's got a double team. He finds Sohn. Swing it to Carpenter on the far side now. We got to get some movement from the AlleyCats here in the back. And that's why we see Keenan Plew trying to get through that double team, and it's knocked down. No. So now the Radicals again here with their second break opportunity. See if they can cash this one in.
I think we're having a timeout here from the Radicals.
So a good defensive set from the Radicals that time. Just running that zone, making it very difficult for the AlleyCats to find anything down the field. The AlleyCats working it through their handlers, make that error.
Well, they were, I think, running sort of a more traditional kind of cup type zone where you kind of put the multiple defenders around the person with the disc. Not really so much double teaming, but sometimes you just try to test the patience of the offense, and the AlleyCats did a pretty good job working it up the field, just taking their time, looking for those shots, and then just the one kind of opportunity to kind of put it through the zone there, put it through the defenders, and now the Radicals with the chance to tie it up.
One thing is consistent, things change. When they do, your insurance should too. An Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent can review your current policy and check to see if you're paying too much or covered too little. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Once again, we have to thank Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance for helping us out with these broadcasts. They really came through for us at the last minute, allowing us to do this, which is something we love to do. And the Radicals quickly back the other way. There's a nice grab on the far side of the field. This going back to Brown.
Peter Cogton with the D there, getting it back for the AlleyCats. So now we'll see maybe the AlleyCats call timeout, and they have a couple of their sort of main offensive players out there in Gross and Carpenter.
Yeah.
So they certainly have the ability to score with their defensive unit.
And here you see Gross getting it forward to Curtis, number 8. Like you said, Carpenter, one of the stalwarts of the O-line, is out there as well. That's an advantage for the AlleyCats. Now the AlleyCats put it on the ground themselves.
And that was a good double team there from the AlleyCats because the Radicals had a cutter running downfield sort of wide open there and able to shut it off.
There's Wiseman with the forehand, but Gross has a beat on it and he catches it. Gets it forward to Triplett. And we're going to have a timeout from the AlleyCats. They're going to get their O-line on the field and try and take advantage of this break opportunity again here with 43 seconds to go in the first. So both teams maybe a little bit gassed after this long first quarter.
Well, you never really know what you're going to see when you have two highly talented teams like this. You know, we talked about it kind of seemed like both teams were just kind of keep taking care of business. And then, of course, with, a minute or so left in the first quarter, it kind of becomes crazy. And at this point, we talk about those break chances. It really was originally, I think, at a point the AlleyCats were on O. And it kind of becomes a break opportunity because they swapped their D-line in, and now they put their O-line back in. So
That's
it's just,
true. That's
as
true.
we talked about, there have been 2 timeouts. So more than anything, it's just a point that really both teams need to have because the AlleyCats can potentially take a 2-score lead going into the next quarter. And the Radicals, if they score here, can score, potentially tie it, and then get it back on offense then take the lead.
I've lost track here. Is this actually technically a break opportunity for
Well, I think it's
Madison?
Technically, it is because the AlleyCats started
because they had that original
offense.
timeout. Yes, okay.
And so, but more than anything, like I said, it just comes down to both teams. This is a really important point.
Yes. Well,
I kind of started talking myself in circles there for a second.
So now we're back to where we're supposed to be. The AlleyCats looking for just a normal point opportunity. No break. Flew again over the top of that double team. Here's Brock ahead with the forehand to Jacobs. Jacobs gets that out. He's got a man. That's Rick Gross going up again. Rick Gross with the score. Beautiful throw from Levi Jacobs, cutting that out of bounds back in. Rick Gross with his second goal of the game. I believe that is the 3rd assist for Levi Jacobs.
Got 4 goals, 2 assists.
His second assist to go with 4 goals. See on this replay, Gross, 2 brilliant goals from him. And 19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. AlleyCats up 7-5. Wow.
A bit of an interesting point there. So it all winds up with
it all
the AlleyCats
comes out the way it was supposed to.
maintain their 2-point lead.
Yes. Okay. Just kind of went the long way there, but
of course, at the same time, I mentioned if the Radicals here get a score, with 19 seconds left, I believe they come out on offense and then can tie the game. So they could close this 2-point gap here very quickly.
See, this is too much for me. We're gonna have to discuss that during the break.
Well, just always remember, every point is important.
That's a good way to put it.
That's the main takeaway here.
Here's the backhand, 1 second to go at the buzzer, and it is caught by the AlleyCats. I believe that's Curtis who went up to get that to prevent that score that we were talking about. So the AlleyCats going to go into the end of the first quarter with a 2-point lead. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Madison Radicals versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats. Back with you now. Getting ready to start the second quarter. AlleyCats up 7-5. And that was a busy first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those last few minutes got fairly crazy there. And so now the AlleyCats, I think you just kind of look at it as they're up 2, so they won the first quarter. They're +2 there, so you get +1 every quarter, and you can guarantee yourself the win.
Yep, and I think you're right. I think the Radicals are going to get this disc to start the second quarter. Have an opportunity to cut this back down to 1. So the AlleyCats, they really just have to stick with it. Like we said, this is really no team will test your endurance more than this Madison Radicals team. So it looks like the AlleyCats are going to be pulling from our left to right. That's going to be number 24, John Winger.
It looks like a couple of the guys, it seems like they've gotten quite a bit of D points today. Donovan Triplett's been playing a lot on defense. Spencer Loscar, Peter Carlton, those 3 guys seems like they're getting a lot of action on defense. And I think more than anything, I think you see with Donovan Triplett, one of the things I saw on defense is he's very aggressive in his movements.
Yeah.
Donovan Triplett is. He's going to, as much as you can, try to put pressure on the mark. It's sort of different when you're not stalling, you're not the one sort of counting. So maybe that's kind of to a player like his advantage, where he can just kind of focus on just really trying to be aggressive in his movements and let the ref take care of the counting for him.
Yep, we see Triplett here on the mark on Andrew Brown, number 44. And now this is Colin Camp. And Radicals quickly forward. There's a nice grab from... That's Wiseman, I believe, in the end zone with the score. And the Radicals very quickly down the field to cut this lead to 1. And that took about 22 seconds. So they come out firing here to start this second quarter. We're going to have to see if the AlleyCats can do the same. See this replay. And that was David Meineke, I think, or Manecki, I believe is how it's pronounced, going down to the face on the ground to get that disc. Comes up and makes the assist for his first assist of the game. And Dave Wiseman, that is his 4th goal of the game. So he's a name that we've been saying quite a lot so far tonight. And here's the left-handed pull. That's going to come down to Samson deep in the end zone. He gets it out to Plu. Plu has to make the dump, gets it back. And that Gross unable to catch that throw from Samson, and that is an opportunity right away for the Radicals. Got that quick early point, and now here a chance for an early break. They're working this disc over. There's a left-hand forehand back to Pettit Scantling. That was Luo with it. Back to Scantling. Luo now wanted to get it back, but has to make the dump. There's Scantling on the far side. He's got a man, and there's the score, and that's a break for the Radicals. 10:41 to go here in the second. They have put 2 points on the board and tied this game.
Well, it's going to be very important right now, obviously, for the AlleyCats to just kind of put all that aside. I know there might be some frustration building, but it's still tied. They're overall have been playing very well today, and so they just need to keep that up.
Yeah, they got to see if they can take these punches that are going to come from the Radicals.
Yeah, AlleyCats are keeping the same offensive unit out, which, I mean, they do. That's sort of common, obviously, in Ultimate, but more so than I think even a lot of teams. You know, they like to keep that same offensive unit out there, which is good. I mean, they've been playing very well. Last few points here, they've been maybe a little shaky. Maybe that's just the type of pressure that Madison has been putting on them today.
Yeah, Madison's a team that'll give you a lot of different looks on defense as well. So we have to see if the AlleyCats can adjust to that. And there's a pull that goes deep out of bounds. All the way into the construction zone. You see over there on the far side, they're working on this facility because in, I think, a month maybe, the Indianapolis Colts are going to be doing their training camp here. And for good reason. It is a beautiful facility. Plu gets it to the far side. Here's Sohn. Let's see if he can make up for that last error on the last point. Gets it to the far side. Has to swing it to the near side. Here's Plu waiting for that throw. It seems as though Radicals being much more aggressive up front now. Here's Carpenter, gets it over just barely to Cameron Brock. He's got that forehand down. Here's North. North with the big hammer over the top. That's going to be intercepted.
I think I got blocked by someone there. I couldn't really tell who. I didn't really notice who was on the mark there, but I believe that hammer got blocked, which is, I think, more than anything, the impressive part is as we see the Radicals going for the shot downfield. And, wow.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, Samson, as much as with the size difference there, as much as he could do.
Yeah, he did everything he could. It was great effort from Samson, but he is not going to come down with that disc.
Now, I saw there the Radicals, more than anything, it didn't seem like their players downfield were sprinting as much. More than anything, I think they just do an incredible job of positioning themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's where size factors into it.
Yeah, and they're really just trying to test the AlleyCats' patience, as I said, and as well as precision. And they've been able to force them into certain situations. You see there what it seems like the AlleyCats are getting a fast break going, and then all of a sudden, boom, the disc gets blocked, and then the Radicals are quickly going back the other way, and they're now taking I believe, their first lead of the game.
Yeah, and that was Marquise Mason, number 40 for the Radicals with that score, and he is a former wide receiver for the University of Wisconsin, I believe. And he is a very athletic, very good-sized player.
And now the AlleyCats going with the defensive unit here on offense just to try to shake things up a little bit, just to kind of give their offensive line a little bit of rest, as well as give some other players an opportunity to try to get a score on the board.
So now Cox with it, swings it back to Schwartz, number 5. Cox trying to find somewhere to throw that forehand. He's got to get it backhand to Winger. Winger with a nice play. He's got that backhand. It's going to cut out of bounds. No chance. So the AlleyCats have fallen apart. I don't know how else to say it. They've fallen apart here in the second quarter. 8:35 to go. They are down 1 now.
And, of course, the disc comes up to where the throw was because it never really came out. And, of course, there, Aaron Schwartz just kind of right place, right time.
Right place,
maybe?
right time. Yeah, good recognition from him to steal that one. Here's Loskar. Looking for Schwartz. Doesn't have a man. It's knocked away. Now here's Pettit-Scantling for Madison going back the other way. Here's Luo. And Sterling Knock. The D-line for Madison working this almost as well as their O-line. These guys looking very comfortable with the disc. And that was Coolidge, and I think we're going to have a timeout now.
No, I think it was a pick call in the end zone. It's kind of there was a bit of a blob there, and a couple guys ran into each other, so cost the Radicals some yards here. But
Thomas Coolidge bailed out on that throw.
As they like to say, sometimes it just pays to be lucky, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that was another example of right place, right time, this time for the Madison Radicals. And it results in a score, and they go up now 2 points, 9-7.
I believe this is a 4-0 run currently the Radicals are on.
You see this replay here. Coolidge with the disc makes that forehand throw. That was excellent recognition there. I think that was Sterling Knock who's the one who came down with that. Number 18 for the Madison Radicals.
I will say, though, one of the things I love to see is players that really just they don't hesitate to lay out. I think we've seen that from certainly both sides today. Is a lot of just really trying to get the disc, whether it's on offense, defense, selling out, sacrificing your body. That's always a good thing I like to see. Even though he didn't catch it there, really didn't hesitate to lay out and try to catch it.
So now the AlleyCats, with almost 4 minutes gone here, almost 5 minutes gone here in the second quarter, still no points. They are stuck on 7. Going to try and remedy that. Samson has to make that dump. And they are a little bit lost right now. This is quite a difference from what we saw in the first quarter, where they were moving the disc easily, and it is knocked away again. That is number 77, Jack Kelly, with the D. Now yet another break opportunity for Madison. The AlleyCats O-line playing far more defense in this quarter than they are playing offense. Here's Peter Graffey with it. He's got Cameron Brock on the mark. Gets that forehand easily forward. No, he steps out of bounds. As I said, it can be a little difficult to see those out of bounds lines. It's a little bit of a lucky break there for the AlleyCats. See if they can work this toward the end zone. Bit of a lame duck throw there to Brock, but it works. Gross back to Carpenter. Here's North with it. Thought he had Jacobs there in the back of the end zone, and he floats one, and that is brilliant catch from the AlleyCats. And that's Samson. He's a little bit fired up after that. Took a bit of a shot. He's going to check that right at the goal line. He's got no one, has to dump it. There's Carpenter, wants to get it back to him and can't. And there's Jacobs again in the end zone. Who else is going to bail him out of this but Levi Jacobs tonight here with his 5th goal. And that was a much-needed one for the AlleyCats. 5 minutes to go here in the second, and they finally get their first goal.
Yes, a good point. I believe that is their first score of the quarter.
Yes. That was a nice find from Keenan Plew. finally pushing that into the end zone for the AlleyCats. And they cut that lead to 1. It's hard to believe that they're only down by 1 after everything we've seen here to start the second quarter.
Well, I think that part of that goes back to they're playing the first quarter. They played very well, and now some of these sort of longer drug out points, and they're still in it. They still have an opportunity to really make this a close game going into halftime, as it already is close. So really either team could take the lead here over the next 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
Yeah, and this is another thing we talked about at the beginning of the show. Can the AlleyCats really overcome these kinds of onslaughts from Madison and stay in this game? Because they're going to come. And it really it depends on how they react to it. Now Madison back the other way. This is Camp. He's got John Jones on him. He swings it back to Brown now. We see Cox on Brown instead of Triplett. And there is a loose throw from the Radicals. That was the Q's, I believe, who let that one go. Not sure who he was throwing that to.
Well, I think all of the break opportunities from for the AlleyCats today have come when they've really pressured the throws downfield.
And this is Curtis running deep for it, not able to catch up with that. That was Cox who took that chance.
Well, it looked like he was, not that he necessarily wasn't looking for it, but it looked like by the time he kind of turned and located the disc, it was too far away from him.
Yep, I don't think he realized that was coming until he didn't have a chance. So now back the other way, number 76, Grandin gets it forward to Accuse. I apologize to anyone from the Madison Radicals watching this if I'm horribly mispronouncing his name. I'm just going with it phonetically as best I can. Number 64. Here's the throw over the top. John Jones going to go up and knock that away. Great D from Jones. And that is what the AlleyCats need right now. And that was Camp he was on. If you can keep the disc away from Colin Camp, you've done something.
It was good positioning. Definitely a hard catch for Camp, and that was credit.
Here's another shot down the field to Curtis with the forehand. He's on the run. This time he has it.
A little more float that time.
Yes.
Was able to get across the field to it.
Yep. Perfect throw. Now he's going to be heading, nope. I believe this is Winger. And they call a timeout. Probably a wise decision in that situation.
I think he was maybe about to get stalled there. He's running out of time.
2:38 to go now. Here in the second quarter, AlleyCats down 1, trying to tie this game up. So they will bring in their O-line. And that O-line has been on the field quite a bit in this quarter. Hopefully they've gotten a little bit of rest now.
One of the interesting things, I believe, in our first broadcast this year here at Grand Park, we talked about maybe what this indoor facility would do to the score. And right now we're looking at maybe neither team having more than 10 going into halftime.
Right. Yeah, I think both of us thought that that this facility was going to mean a lot more scoring, but it really hasn't.
Well, and I mean, the high level of defense that's played in the AUDL certainly contributes to that.
Sure.
And these players are not going to go out there and let anybody score.
Right. Now the AlleyCats, Keenan Plew going to check this, facing a double team. He's got Sam Sohn behind him. Wants to get that over the top, dumps it to Sohn. Nice swing it far side to Plew. He's got Gross. Gross looks in the end zone. Now Plew up over the top to Carpenter. There's Levi Jacobs, back to Carpenter. There's a man in the back. It's Samson. He is unable to go up and get that. And that is a turnover again for the AlleyCats, missing that opportunity to tie this game up with about 2 minutes to go. We hear another whistle now. It's going to be a timeout for Madison. They're going to put their O-line back on the field and see if they can push this lead to 2 points. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Madison Radicals versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. So now the Madison Radicals looking to take this lead up to 2. There's Peter Graffey. Gets that forehand out. There's Carlton on the run for the AlleyCats. Knocks that away and is picked up by, I believe that's Wiseman.
Wow.
Unbelievable effort from him. That was knocked away beautifully by Carlton. Just does not get it knocked away far enough. Wiseman with great recognition. Second effort on that disc. I believe that's his 5th goal of the game. So Dave Wiseman, really the difference in this game for Madison. So they take a 2-point lead now with 1:32 to go. That was Peter Graffey with the forehand to get that assist.
Wow, that was, it looked like Peter Carlton wasn't able to propel himself up to D it, and it looked like Wiseman necessarily wasn't looking at the disc when he was going down, and so I don't know, they almost negate each other, and then Wiseman's able to just kind of continue with it and get the score.
Yeah, I don't know what else Carlton could have done on that play, though.
Like you said, sometimes the disc just seems to find who it wants to find, I guess.
Here's Brock with the throw from Jacob. Brock goes and gets it. And that was Pettit Scantling on the D. Brock, great timing, great recognition, gets that score in the end zone. The AlleyCats right back the other way, and that again was Levi Jacobs with that assist. And he's been keeping the AlleyCats in it so far in this game. The AlleyCats cut that to 1, and that was a much-needed goal for them.
I think it's Jacobs now with 5 goals and 3 assists so far in this first half.
And he's putting up big numbers for the AlleyCats tonight. So not much time for them to be able to tie this game. 1:18 to go, though. A lot can happen in that amount of time.
Matt Lorian, please report to the sideline. Matt Lorian, please report to the sideline.
This pole coming down. Here's, I believe that's Graffey with it. Here's Grandin. Camp on the near side has to dump. As Graffey gets it back. Grandin to the far side. It seems the AlleyCats sensing an opportunity to tie this game here. Here's Camp with it again. He's got that forehand. Little shaky, and he's got a man in the end zone. No, he was on the line, I believe. That was Graffey coming up with that, and he's got the score right back. So big point for Madison. AlleyCats looking pretty good on that defensive set, just unable to come up with that long throw there to the end zone. And Madison back up 2. So the AlleyCats, this is an important point. Can they cut this back down to 1 with only 30 seconds to go? See this replay here. Nice play from Graffy. So this disc comes down to Sohn. Has some trouble scooping that. Gets it to Plu. So over the top now. This is North with it. Haven't seen much from North so far in this game. Only one assist for Keegan North tonight. Here's Gross. 10 seconds to go. They've got to get this into the end zone. Gross puts one up. And it is almost knocked away. Great play from Cameron Brock. And we see almost a replay of what we saw before with Wiseman coming down with that. Headed Scantling knocks that away. Cameron Brock with great recognition to still come up with that disc.
That's just a fun play to watch.
Yeah, that was huge for the AlleyCats.
I think the sideline's telling Gross, all right, he's got to put it up. And you're like, okay, this isn't going to work. And then two guys just kind of, all right, knock it right to Cameron Brock. Let's score. Even he's like, well, I guess I'll take that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like both of those Madison defenders maybe negated each other a little bit. Neither of them able to knock that disc to the ground. And Cameron Brock, the beneficiary. So the end of the first half, AlleyCats down by 1. Madison Radicals up 11-10. Considering how rough that second quarter was, that's not too bad of a position for the AlleyCats to be in.
No, overall, the defense, I think, is putting a fair amount of pressure on for the AlleyCats on the Madison Radicals offense. Overall, the AlleyCat offense, I think they had a much more difficult second quarter there, and maybe that was just taking the wrong chances. The Radicals, even inside, are going to play zone because they just know how to pressure you in the right way. It's something that a lot of teams have been trying to figure out for a lot of years.
For a long time, that's right.
It's one of those things where it's the reason why they win a lot of games.
That's right.
But, of course, as you said, the AlleyCats are down 1, and certainly either team could win this, and this is just a really good game. Both teams playing very well.
So we're going to break for halftime now. We will see you in 15 minutes. You're watching the Madison Radicals versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented as always by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
And our dark team, Alex Henderson, Old Center, Willie Coon, Lauren Clinton, Chloe Levine, Seth Thomas, Matthew Peterson, Edward Naki, Kyle Brun, Ethan Case, Caleb Cilia, Blessing, Stephen Lawley, Zaire Khan, Connor Bronner, and Christian Lucas. And the Dark Team. Once again, we'd like to thank the sponsors of the Indiana High School All-Star Game, Distor, Select Physical Therapy, and Household Chiropractic. Let's give one more giant round of applause to the future of Ultimate here in Indiana. Don't forget, for your chance to win $100 gold hard cash, head over to the concourse and pick up a mini disc for $1. You'll get a numbered disc and write your name down, and between the third and fourth quarters, you'll have a chance to win $100 gold hard cash.
Gets it to Gross and back. They swing it. Brock with a great catch to save that. He's got a man in the end zone wide open. That is Levi Jacobs, and he gets that first score of the game. And it is they get it across the middle to Camp. Camp is a name that we've called a lot in the past, and he gets a forehand up.
Oh.
And that was a nice flew to Keegan North. And North, the overhand, a perfect throw to Brock on the line. Brock unable to get that into the end zone. He's got Jacobs. Jacobs with number 2. He's got the score. It's a nice play from Brock. Here's Wiseman. Here on the near side, gets the backhand forward. And there is the score, and that is Wiseman. The AlleyCats moving it easily so far. There's Brock to Jacobs. Jacobs looks for that hammer in the end zone. That was a brilliant play from who else? Rick Rose.
Right.
Goes up and gets that first break opportunity. Here's Cox back to Lascar. And Cox has a man in the end zone. He finds him. Perfect throw on the run for the score. Got a man. Carpenter on the run. Does not make the effort, though. And there's the pitch, and that's Wiseman with the score. He had the throw that North gets that backhand now across midfield.
And what was interesting there on that throwaway from Brock is the Radicals are still playing zone, and of course there again Jacobs. You know what you see there.
Now Brown wants that forehand. He's got a man in the middle. That was a Hughes. And that is Camp, and he has it. He is an unbelievably athletic player. North wanting zone again, has to dump it back to Carpenter.
very good switch there. But then, of course, Carpenter does a good job of recognizing it.
And look who it is again in the back of the end zone. It's Jacobs with the score. Carpenter finds him from midfield. The Radicals being very patient on this play, taking care of the disc. Seeing a lot of throws completed. And this is what we see a lot of from them. And there's the score in the end zone. That's Wiseman with the score. There's a nice grab on the far side of the field. This going back to Brown. Here's Brock ahead with the forehand to Jacobs. Jacobs gets that out. He's got a man. That's Rick Gross going up again. The Radicals quickly forward. There's a nice grab from, and that's Wiseman, I believe, in the end zone with the score. And the Luo now wanted to get it back, but has to make the dump. There's Scantling on the far side. He's got a man, and there's the score, and that's a break for the Radicals.
I didn't really notice who was on the mark there, but I believe that hammer got blocked, which is, I think, more than anything, the impressive part is as we see the Radicals going for the shot downfield, and wow,
yeah,
I think it was a pick call in the end zone. It's kind of there was a bit of a blob there, and a couple guys running into each other, so cost the Radicals some yards here, but.
Thomas Cooley. He's got no one, has to dump it. There's Carpenter, wants to get it back to him and can't. And there's Jacobs again in the end zone. Who else is going to be two? There's Peter Graffey, gets that forehand out. There's Carlton on the run for the AlleyCats, knocks that away, and is picked up by, I believe that's Wiseman.
Wow.
So Carlton could have done on that play, though.
Like you said, sometimes the disc just seems to find who it wants to find, I guess.
Here's Brock with the throw from Jacob. Brock goes and gets it. And that was Pettit Scantling on the D. Brock, a little shaky, and he's got a man in the end zone. No, he was on the line, I believe. That was Graffey coming up with that, and he's got the score right back. So big point for Madison. Here's Gross, 10 seconds to go. They've got to get this into the end zone. Gross puts one up, and it is almost knocked away. Great play from Cameron Brock. So now we're back with you now here to start the second half. It is going to be the AlleyCats taking this disc on the far side of the field to start here. Down 1 point, 11-10, Madison Radicals with the lead, and I am going to start this second half by apologizing. I've been calling Colin Grandin's name when it actually has been Benji Kieran, number 36 for the Radicals. I apologize for that. Again, a little bit of trouble seeing the numbers from where we're sitting. So Levi Jacobs now going to take this, gets it to Gross. Gross with a nice backhand to Brock here on the near side. AlleyCats moving quickly down the field. Gross puts that low on the ground. A mistake from Rick Gross to start the second half. And very quickly, Madison with a break opportunity, going to try and push this up to 2. This is Luo with the left hand, and he almost puts it on the ground. That's Scantling who goes down to get that to save him. The forehand now on the far side. Comes back to Scantling. Here's Luo with it. Madison unable to work this forward. Pettit Scantling wants that forehand back to Luo. The AlleyCats now with a double team. Brock back on the mark. You can see the patience that the D-line has, and that is Luo who goes down.
Ooh.
And he's in a little bit of pain. The AlleyCats player as well. And this surface is not soft.
Well, certainly good to see that Playist obviously stopped immediately, and the first thing is just making sure that everyone's okay.
Yeah.
Rick Gross doing a great job of great sportsmanship there. You don't see a lot of times very hard collisions like that, and ultimately you don't see it a lot. But that was just kind of I think Rick Gross tries to kind of slow up and just kind of isn't able to at the last second. But of course, great sportsmanship all around from both teams there.
Yep. Gross thinking he had a shot at that, not really able to get there, and takes Luo down in the process. Cox with the assist on the far side, carrying Samson off, and there is a quick score. I believe that's Peter Graffey.
Well, that's always something that is very sort of interesting and difficult in Ultimate, in that you almost have to brace yourself because I think maybe it might be different in injury timeout. Normally, players can kind of move freely there, and you almost have to you're waiting for the whistle, but at the same time, it's right when they blow that whistle, it's just boom, it's 0 to 60. So it's really hard to, especially in the end zone.
Yes.
It's really hard to play defense there.
Yeah, that is a difficult position for any team to be in. Madison Radicals proving that by coming away with a goal. And very quickly up now 2 points, 10-13 to go here in the third. The AlleyCats hoping they don't see a repeat of what they saw in the second quarter, where they were unable to score for the first 7 minutes.
Well, I think the difference here is going to be just decision making and really just patience. And really, I get that maybe those kind of go together there. But I think that's going to be really something that will define the second half here for the AlleyCats, and something that I think the Radicals have really done a better job of today so far.
So now we immediately see the D-line on O for the AlleyCats, something that they tried late in the second quarter as well, and it did not work then.
Well, and I know that Kyle Cox there certainly had a lot of experience playing offense in his Ultimate career. He's really a trusted handler, and so it's certainly nice to have someone like that who might traditionally play more defense for them now, someone that can come out and sort of help lead the offense here, in an offensive situation.
Yep, and Schwartz has played some offense as well. Here's Curtis with it. He gets it to Loskar. Loskar with a dump over the top to Triplett. Back to Triplett. He's got the double team. Makes an easy dump to Cox.
But of course, you see so far here right now, the AlleyCats doing a good job of just being patient, and sometimes you just take the easy throw.
Yep.
That can mean the defense is certainly doing a good job, but at the same time, it also means the offense is doing its job by taking the right throw.
And there's Curtis on the line, and he's got the assist, and that was Peter Carlton with the goal. So that works perfectly for the AlleyCats this time. The D-line showing that patience that you need to break down this Madison Radicals defense.
Yeah, I think that's what the AlleyCats need to do. They need to stay patient on offense and allow the pressure that their defense has been putting on today to give them those opportunities. And I think if they continue to do that, we're still, again, at a 1-point game. So we saw there earlier the AlleyCats took a 2-point lead that turned into a 2-point lead for the Radicals. So just like that, there's plenty of time left here. I think that's very nice to see that the AlleyCats can put out a D-line there on offense, and they can be patient and get a score.
Yep, and the D-line showing the O-line how it's done there, cutting the lead to 1. Now it looks like we have a new D-line for the AlleyCats. Madison, this is Wiseman. Gets that forehand forward. Over the top to Manecki. And it is knocked away by Curtis. Curtis, who had the assist on the last goal, showing his defensive prowess as well. Here's Henderson with it, number 0.
A little shout out here. Alex Henderson just got done with his Center Grove High School career here in the Indianapolis area. Finished, I believe, 3rd place at High School Nationals this year.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing to see some of these top-level high schoolers who can step right onto the field and play with the team. So he's probably got a little bit of nerves, but doing well so far. Back to Jones. And there's Henderson with it. He's got that sharp forehand into the end zone. Too much for Curtis, though. And maybe overpowers that a little bit, looking for his first assist. So an opportunity missed for the D-line to get that break and tie this game. Madison going to bring it back the other way. They're going to check this on the goal line. I believe that's Brown on the far side. Looks like his forehand. He gets it to Camp.
Uriah was just thinking the same thing. It's like he does sort of have a signature throw there with his forehand.
And there's the turnover. Wiseman not able to come up with that disc. Henderson now picks it up for the AlleyCats. He's got a man, and it is just barely in the corner of the end zone. They called that a goal. We weren't sure if he was going to be past the line. Looks like there's still a little bit of question, but they're going to take it. And that ties this game up.
I think they're going to discuss it. From what I could tell, it looked pretty clearly like a goal.
Yeah, we're going to call that a goal. That'd be strange if they pulled that back after saying it was a goal the first time.
And it looks, some of the Radical players weren't sure. I don't know. We'll see here. It looked pretty clearly like it was a goal to me. Maybe they thought he wasn't in yet. I don't know.
It was the referee he was on the spot right there. He had to have seen that. It was clearly a goal. Yeah, yes. I don't know what the question was on that.
Great replay here. Look at that, boom. First step, and he's got multiple feet in. And you can see the ref, great position there.
Our cameraman all over that one. Thank you to him. So 6:48 to go now. AlleyCats tie this game up, and this has been a strange start. We had a D-line get that first goal for them. We get a break from the sub-D-line.
Yep, and here we go. We got ourselves a game here.
That was Zach Zebarth, number 23 for the AlleyCats, with the goal. There's a big forehand. Carpenter's got a bead on it. It's knocked away. I don't know if they're going to call contact on that. They're probably going to give that to him.
I think they are. More than anything, I think it was just Carpenter was kind of spinning there. He wasn't really able to get on track with the disc and really go up for it, and I think it was one of those things where he's not really able to play the disc, and it looks like that was Graffy there for the Radicals that can play the disc, and so I think that's a good call. He was impeding his ability to play the disc there.
Yeah, and here's Graffy. A little bit shaken up. He didn't look too shaken up when he was running for that disc to get that goal, and now he's shaken up on the far side of the field. A good effort from him to get that goal. Missed opportunity for the AlleyCats. Good effort from Carpenter. Now let's take a look at the layout ultimate grip catch of the half. This is a pretty obvious one. I think we're going to see Cameron Brock, if I'm not mistaken. That's Rick Gross with that throw at the very end.
Rick Gross to the Madison Radicals to Cameron.
Yeah, exactly right. The assist from 2 Madison Radicals players to Cameron Brock for the score. That was the layout ultimate grip catch of the half. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. Now listen to this. Layout Ultimate would like to give out a pair of gloves to a viewer. Tweet at universe_point and at Layout Ultimate using the hashtag Layout Ultimate and tell us why you want some gloves. We will pick a winner for a free pair of gloves in the 4th quarter. Do not miss out on that. Samson with the disc. This is the traditional AlleyCats O-line back on the field, and we have a whistle. There was an injury before the throw. That is Rick Gross in the end zone. We did not see what happened to him. He comes up lame. He is walking off the field slowly. Looks like maybe an ankle.
Well, and I kind of heard something here. So something that's interesting is, they talked about with like the stall and everything. I know that all the Ultimate players out there listening know that one of the things that everyone tries to figure out whenever there's a call of some kind is what is the stall coming into play. And I always kind of wondered, especially in the AUDL, is it different? Did they reset the stall? But it sounds to me like the ref is saying that the stall is coming in on 5, so he's only going to have a few seconds to throw it here. As you see, he very quickly makes the throw.
Yep, good call, Alex. Recognizing that point. Here's North, puts one dangerously up over the top, and that is knocked away. Samson, I think, is going to get that call, though. That was number 41, Luo, who knocks him to the ground.
Samson got a few bumps today.
Yeah, he has. He can get up, though. And we've seen him up in the air quite a bit. He's not a big guy, but he can get off the ground. Now facing a double team. We have another whistle.
I think they call it travel, maybe?
Yeah. So quickly the AlleyCats, he has to step that back. Now he gets the dump to Plu. The AlleyCats looking to tie this game back up. There's a forehand. That's Jacobs on the line. And he's got a man. That's Keegan North in the far end of the end zone with the score. And Levi Jacobs with yet another assist. That is number 4 for him to go with 5 goals. And that is Keegan North's first goal of the game to go with 1 assist. You'll see this replay here. Jacobs again finding some opening in that zone. And there's Keegan North with the score. Now, Keegan is a guy who, when they were playing Chicago, the last game that we called, we said his name the whole night.
Well, and I mean, I kind of had a thought earlier. With Ultimate, it's one of those things where it's really hard to necessarily always define how you play in terms of like a stat sheet. You might have a player who has no turnovers for a game. He doesn't have any goals, doesn't have any assists, or she. He or she might have no goals or assists in a game. But they have no turnovers. They've caught every pass that's been thrown to them. They've made every completion that they've had. And that's, if you have, 20 players on an active roster in the AUDL that can do that, then you're probably going to win more games than you're going to lose.
Yep, another excellent point from our man Alex Hutton. Now Brown here on the near side crosses midfield, gets one back over the top. That's Benji Kieran now. I said his name right this time. Apologies again to him. Here's a Hughes. Forward to Camp. Camp being checked by John Jones. And that goes away from him, though. I think he was trying to throw that to Brown. I'm not sure. Wiseman was also there, but unable to come up with it. Here's a big forehand from Cox. Cox has his man. Curtis has been downfield this whole time.
Yes. And Kyle Cox definitely has the ability to impact a game very quickly in that, he gets the AlleyCats in good position there.
Winger over the top to Curtis, and he gets that score. I think that's his first one, but he definitely deserves that because he's been a man who's been going down and getting those big shots several times here, especially in this second half.
The AlleyCats take the lead here.
Kip Curtis, number 8, with the score. You see him making that dump, and he just works his way back across the field.
Curtis has just been running all over the field today. And you saw that. You see there, that was, more than anything, that was a great job. I believe that was John Wanger there who got the assist. He noticed that there was all this free space, and Curtis wasn't even moving when the throw was made. But, sometimes with all that space there on an Ultimate field, if you make the throw, since the defender was maybe 4 or 5 steps away, really he had no shot to go get it.
Yeah, so the AlleyCats now almost miraculously take the lead with a break.
Well, it's like I said, I think that point there where Coach Leonard put out the D-line and just said, hey, go out there, make 100 throws if you have to and score, I think might have been the change that the AlleyCats needed. And as of right now, again, it still could go either way.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, that was an important point for them to start off this second half. And it's been going in their favor so far here in the third. And there's a D attempt, and that was number 16. Kalaba tries to get that, unable to come up with it, though. Now this goes over the top. I think that's Graffy with it. Luo with a low throw. Gets bailed out. Luo looking for the end zone. He's got that left-handed forehand. And Graffy is his man for the point.
The AlleyCats have had their fair share of layouts today. They haven't really gotten a whole lot of layout Ds, but, I mean, honestly, that shows a sign of a team that's willing to sacrifice their body, which, again, will get you some Ds in a game.
Yep. They have put it on the line so far, especially here in this third quarter. But I believe that was the D line on O there. Is that right? For Madison?
I think. Well, I think more so than the AlleyCats today. They've definitely had maybe some players playing both, but they've had a fair mix of players on both offense and defense. Meaning that they've had maybe like say 8 to 11 guys that are playing on an O and a D line, and obviously that would overlap there with more than 20 players, where a few of them are probably playing both.
Yeah, whatever the case was, they did a nice job to get that score.
Yes, they're being a little bit more loose with the lines. The AlleyCats certainly, as you can see there, with their normal 7 offensive players out there.
So it's good to see Rick Gross back on the field for the AlleyCats here with the O-line. He's got that forehand loaded up.
But again, a good decision there. North was downfield, but Gross just kind of at the last second said, okay, I'm going to not make this throw. And, of course, the AlleyCats were able to maintain possession. And right now, as you can see, maybe a little bit more patient so far this half, which is going to be, again, as I said, very important for the AlleyCats the rest of the game.
Here's Carpenter with it, fakes that backhand. Gets it back to Plu. Here's Samson looking across the field. And right in the middle, and he gets turned around there. Carpenter, I don't think he thought Carpenter was going to throw that. And then he did. He was turned around backwards, and there's an error for the AlleyCats O-line. And Scantling has to make a bailout catch. And right here, he's going to get this. And that is on the line, and he's got his man in the end zone. And there's a quick break for Madison. And just like that, they turn this around and take that lead, 15-14, with 1:17 to go here in the third.
And I've seen Pettit Scantling so far. I've kind of been observing. He's been very talkative on the sideline with a lot of his teammates, really trying to get everybody focused, and he's certainly made his impact on the game today.
Hand-me-down car, first used but new to you car, first actual new car. When things change, your insurance should too. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free quote, or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. So here's the pull.
Again, going with a defensive line, so to speak, here on offense.
Yep, here's Triplett. Gets that forward to Cox. Cox able to pick that up, a low throw from Triplett. He's facing a double team now.
Yeah, a little bit more different type of zone here, where the Radicals are really trying to just get it back to the middle of the field and then double team.
So we are under a minute now to go here in the third. The AlleyCats still buried in their end zone. And there's Loskar now. Cox getting that forehand out. And Loskar with that forehand, it looks like it's going to go deep, out of bounds the wrong way. And another missed opportunity for the AlleyCats. 30 seconds to go here in the third. Plenty of time for the O-line to come back on the field for the Radicals to get another break point and take this back up by 2 going into the fourth. And they, I believe, will have the disc to start the fourth as well, right?
Yes, and I think this is where I wish I had one of those little marker things where you can draw on the screen, because they often like to say that it can maybe be a bad decision when you're throwing it to a player in the same third of the field. So Loskar there on the sideline, and there's really not a whole lot of space there. I believe it was Curtis that was going deep. And so he really has any sort of leeway either way. It's going to be a difficult catch. And as you can see there, the throw goes to the right. And, if you're making it from the opposite side of the field, it's still in bounds, whereas there it sails out of bounds.
Yeah, and you could tell as soon as that left his hand that it didn't have enough on it to be able to come back in.
Yeah.
I want to remind you guys real quick. About the layout ultimate grip catch of the half. Do not forget, tweet at universe_point and at layout ultimate using the hashtag layout ultimate to tell us why you want those gloves. Everybody wants free stuff. These are free gloves just waiting out there for you. We will pick a winner in the fourth quarter. So make sure you tweet at us to get those gloves. So Madison now with a 1-point lead, trying to push this up to 2 with 30 seconds to go. This is a big point for the AlleyCats D-line.
Very interesting setup here, almost like a basketball out of bounds play.
I was going to say, it does. Looks like the old number 5 play.
They're going straight to the end zone here.
And that's Camp who goes up to get that. And he has not put his name on the board very much tonight. But that is a great example of what he is capable of. Colin Camp with the score straight out of bounds. And just like that, Madison up by 2 with 23 seconds to go. That score took 7 seconds.
Well, maybe more than anything, Madison was just going for let's take 3 or 4 defenders out of the play and then just let Colin Camp go up and do that. And then, of course, the disc pays the ultimate price.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly for everyone except for the AlleyCats and the disc. I believe that was Dave Wiseman with that throw from the out of bounds. Number 21, he has, I think, his first assist of the game to go with 5 goals. So now the AlleyCats have to work this forward quickly. Here's Carpenter looking for Plew. He's got to find a man. He does. He finds Jacobs. Jacobs ahead to Brock. 10 seconds to go. They are on the goal line. There he is, Rick Gross, and the AlleyCats with an excellent play to cut this back down to 1 to end the third quarter.
Be interesting to see what the AlleyCats do. They might go with sort of just a really tall lineup here. With 7 seconds, the Radicals are going to be just catching it and maybe getting one throw off to gain some yards and then go into the end zone.
Yeah, and that was huge. That was a huge play for them to get that point after that out-of-bounds play. That could have been pretty deflating for this team, especially when the O-line was having some struggles.
Well, if the Radicals can get a score here and then get it out at the fourth quarter and go up 3, that would I think it's going to be very important here that the AlleyCats get this D and knock it down.
Yeah, we'll see what Madison can do here. Only 7 seconds to go in the third.
Well, and again, you see with Madison kind of answering with a jump lineup here maybe. They're just putting a bunch of guys out there that can go up and get it. So I think maybe expect to see one throw here to gain some yards. And, of course, the AlleyCats do a great job of pressuring it.
And he puts it right back the other way. It looks like this is going to go out of bounds. No chance for the Madison to catch up with that. AlleyCats take a breather here going into the third.
The key there was Kip Curtis hustled down, and the Radicals were not able to get a throw up, and then the Radicals just kind of had to launch it downfield and weren't able to get anything.
So we'll take a quick break here to end the third quarter. You are watching the Madison Radicals versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate, the most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
Actually, let's do that in 2 more big steps. All right, we got a minute 40. Let him go. We got about 90 seconds. That's close. All right, come on. Anybody else?
The wall. This is the wall, baby.
All right, we're counting down 10,
Run to that.
9, 8, 7,
So we're back with you now here on this Universe Point Productions broadcast to start the fourth quarter between the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the Madison Radicals. And we talked during the break about how in the past when we've seen these two teams, the AlleyCats have been able to stay with them for 3 quarters and then really kind of fell apart in the fourth. So we'll see what they can do tonight to try and stay in this game throughout the full duration.
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect this to be a competitive game all the way through. I think the AlleyCats have really been focused this season. They've really been competitive, obviously, all season with a lot of wins this season, and I expect this to be a little bit different game. I fully expect this to be a close game throughout the fourth quarter, but of course, anything is possible, as we've seen. This is a very crazy, intense game that's gone back and forth here. I think we've had more lead changes maybe than we expected.
Yes, definitely.
And now the Radicals with a chance to put a stamp on this game early with a 2-point lead here in the fourth quarter. But again, the AlleyCats have really just been doing a good job of pressuring the Radicals all game.
Yeah, and I have to say the AlleyCats D-line has been solid through the first 3 quarters. We've seen a lot of great play from them.
Yes, I very much agree.
And this pull is going to go out of bounds. That forehand from Winger. Impressive distance, but the Madison Radicals will take this at the brick. They have break on the brain right now. Hopefully that's a good sign for the AlleyCats D-line.
You can definitely tell just the atmosphere here on the sideline before the fourth quarter. Both teams really want this game. This game might mean a little bit more to the AlleyCats, but the Radicals also very much want to win this game.
Yeah, and there's Loskar looking for that D, but makes a wise decision to pull up on that.
Ooh.
Now we got
Thought he was
Camp.
going to take that chance there. He did not. AlleyCats, again, have been making a lot of these throws difficult.
Now on the far side, we got Triplett on the mark. I'm sorry, that's Curtis on the mark.
Triplett did a great job there of shutting down the reset, both on the dump throw and the strike throw. Didn't really allow either, but good switch there from the AlleyCats.
Minecki puts one. Yep. And the AlleyCats D-line with their first opportunity for a break. Carlton picks it up and bombs it. He's got Winger, and Winger's not going to have a good chance at this. And that was not 100% sure what Carlton was thinking on that play.
Maybe you just saw them open, but then all of a sudden I look downfield and I see 2 defenders and 1 offensive player for the AlleyCats, and usually aren't going to win those odds.
Yeah, maybe if you'd gotten a little bit less air under that, it might have worked.
Like we said, patience and decision making there.
Yeah.
I think the AlleyCats really should have looked to possess that disc maybe a little bit longer at least. Certainly.
Yeah, that's one of those things. You get a break, or you get a D, and then you really have to control your emotions to not take too many chances. Now right back the other way, and there's another mistake from Madison, though. They give it right back to the Radicals.
One thing you'll hear a lot on the sidelines is that's a gift.
Yes.
The AlleyCats have been given a gift, and we'll see if they take advantage of it.
So this is going to be Cox, who tosses the cone out of the way and puts the forehand forward to triplet. And Jones gets it ahead to Lascar.
Curtis has been working really hard.
Yeah, Curtis has been all over the field. And there's a forehand. He's got a man this time. That could work. Winger in the end zone with the score. Set up perfectly by Curtis. Curtis having a great game so far. He shows how it's done. You want to put it in the end zone to Winger. That's how you do it.
Just like that, we are tied.
And Kip Curtis gets his second assist of the game.
But again, I just like his impact on the game as far as exceeded
absolutely.
The stats, I think. He's got, 1D. A lot of these stats are maybe somewhat unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial.
But 2 assists, 1 goal, 1D, but has certainly made a really huge impact on for the AlleyCats today.
Yeah, because like we said, a lot of those big shots down the field that the D-line has taken, he's been the one on the receiving end of those, even though he wasn't in the end zone. He's the one who put it down the field.
He's caught it maybe on the 1 yard line 2-3 times also.
Yep. He has run a marathon out there tonight. Here's a huge pull from Carpenter. Luo going to take it on the line, gets it ahead. And there's another missed throw. It's going to come down, and they gave that gift right back to themselves. That's Coolidge now facing a double team.
Carpenter takes the opportunity to try to put some pressure on with the double team, and then gets back on his man. So good job there.
Here's Coolidge back to Luo. Trading dumps. He's got a man here on the far side. And he gets the score. That's Luo in the end zone. Number 41 for Madison. And those are a lot of D-line players on the O-line for them, and they get the goal. And they're going to take a 1-point lead now with 9:07 to go. DiscStore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from DiscStore.com. DiscStore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at DiscStore.com. So the AlleyCats with some solid play so far here in the fourth, but still down 1. They need to get that break opportunity to turn this game around. Right now their O-line is going to try and just tie it up.
They got the 1 break they needed, but knowing you need 2 breaks going into a quarter is something that that's not an easy task, especially against the Madison Radicals.
Yeah.
But the AlleyCats, again, so far, they're doing what they need to do. Now they just need to, again, maintain that patience that we talked about all through this point.
And how much do nerves come into play for this team when they know that they've never beaten this team?
That's honestly, that's a difficult question to answer. I certainly have played with my fair share of nerves in Ultimate in general, certainly not on a stage quite like this, but these are all incredible players that play on the AlleyCats, and so I think that, as you can see here, they're giving them a lot of throws, and they're just able to swing the disc, and I think so far it's been okay.
Yep. Brock here gets it back to Carpenter.
But as you mentioned, they're going to have to overcome something for this to be what would be an historic win for the AlleyCats.
Yeah, Madison, in this situation, it just looks like they're waiting for the AlleyCats to make a mistake, giving them those short throws. The AlleyCats not looking down the field.
Well, as you can see there, that one where maybe the Radicals almost had a shot to go up and get it. What might be sort of an easy swing throw turns into maybe a chance for the Radicals.
Yeah, you can see there looking down. That's Gross, who I believe is here on the far right side. He's wide open, but nobody even looking at him. Now North. He's going to have to dump this. And there's a close throw to North, and there's Gross in the end zone. He's been waiting there that whole time. He finally gets it on the short throw from Keegan North. And that ties it up, and that was a great example by the AlleyCats O-line of what they need to do against this defense.
Every time I think to do like a throw tracker, I always remember halfway through the point. I'd be interested to see how many throws they completed. But again, sometimes it's an easy explanation. They weren't doing that in the second quarter. They were not doing this where they made 20, maybe 30 throws in a point, and they did it right there, and that's why we have a tie game.
I'm gonna say it was 25, and I dare anybody to prove me wrong.
Oh.
We're just putting that number out there. It was a lot of throws either way. So now the AlleyCats gonna bring this back the other way, right to left. There's another good pull. It's gonna come down to Benji Kieran. He wants Brown, but Triplett's right there. He's got nobody on him.
Yeah, certainly the stall hadn't been started yet, so that was something that you certainly had more time to throw it.
Jones got a beat on this, able to knock it down. That was Wiseman who put that up in the air, and John Jones came a long way to get a beat on that and knock it out of the air.
Last second there, he got the D. He really wanted that. He really wanted it on the stat sheet. He might not necessarily gotten it right away, but that last swipe at the end.
I'm giving it to him.
I'm
giving it to him for the effort.
But this is right here. This is a huge point. This is an amazing opportunity the AlleyCats have. There's less than 7 minutes left in the game. They're probably not thinking about it, but, I mean, this could be the point of the game right here. The AlleyCats have an opportunity. I don't even know when the last time they had a lead on the Radicals in the fourth quarter would be. I don't know.
That was a scary throw from Cox. Carlton able to track it down. He goes over the top. He's got a man.
Nope.
And there's Gross on the D-line right now, and that's probably a wise decision. And there's Jones able to stomp that into the end zone from Gross with the assist. John Jones with his first point of the game, and it's a big one.
Wow. I don't know. We were not on the broadcast the last time they played. I'm wondering when the last time they had a lead on the Radicals in the fourth quarter would be. We'll see. There's a lot of ultimate left to be played. This could go either way. We've been saying it all game, but either way this ends up turning out, this has been an amazing game to watch.
Yeah, this is that situation though where they really have to control their emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and do exactly what they did in that situation where they didn't overwork the disc. They just got it down the field.
Patience.
Yep,
I've been saying it all game. Patience.
And they came away with the score, and that gives them a 1-point lead here with 6:28 to go in the fourth. And like you said, that's not something we've said very often about the AlleyCats when they're facing the Madison Radicals.
I mean, we know that the AlleyCats are really pumped up right now. We know you can almost get a little antsy. So it's going to be interesting to see, can they play with composure here for this last 6 minutes and 20 seconds of the game.
Yep, here's Graffy now on the far side.
But you see the AlleyCats really putting a lot of pressure around the disc there, and now Zebarth has to find somebody. And the AlleyCats did a good job of helping out downfield there, because it looked like the Radicals were kind of running free downfield there for a little while. I believe that's Drews there with the disc.
So the last time the AlleyCats had a lead was 9:38 to go in the second. And here's Luau with that left-handed backhand, gets it across the field. You can sense the energy on the field right now from both teams. Luau screaming down that sidelines. He's going to get that goal. That's a great effort from Luau.
All right, this is going to be a very interesting 5.5 minutes to watch here.
Yep.
Both teams, like I said, both teams want this win. We know what this win would mean to the AlleyCats. We know that the Radicals want to just continue to prove themselves over and over and over again. I mean, because it's hard to continue to beat a team over and over and over again.
Right.
I mean, it's really hard, and maybe it's not as hard as I'm saying. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, all I'm trying to say is this is going to be an amazing 5.5 minutes to watch here. I can obviously only talk to the people that are watching this broadcast. Obviously, we thank all of you, and this is going to be an incredible last part of the game here to watch.
5:32 to go here in the fourth, and it is tied up 18-all. And like we talked about, it's a fairly low-scoring game.
Yeah. I feel bad for anybody not watching this game right now. I'll put it that way.
Yep. Here's Jacobs on the far side. Looking for that forehand. He's going to have to dump it. Sohn ahead with that forehand. A little sketchy. Carpenter reaches back for it. Now North.
This is where Keegan North can, be the missing piece that they need. He didn't make a bad decision there downfield.
Yes.
He just reset it. That can be something that we'll see if the rest of the AlleyCats offense feeds off that.
And he's a guy who's he does not appear to be afraid to make any throw in any situation. So we'll see what he can do. He has a disc here now on the near side. Puts one up over the top, proving me right. He's got a man. Sam Sohn in the end zone. Gets the score. Puts it on the ground. That was a great throw from Keegan North to Sam Sohn.
Wow.
Maybe not the person you would expect to come up with a huge goal in that situation. One of the AlleyCats handlers, who's usually in the back, goes to the front and gets his first goal of the game.
But, just like I said, look at this. He immediately recognizes it, and the Radicals defender immediately gives up on it because he knows he has zero chance of getting that D there.
Just an unbelievable throw from Keegan North in that situation. Beautiful hammer right to the back of the end zone. Sam Sohn stepping it in. Puts the AlleyCats up by 1, 19-18. 4:42 to go now in the fourth. So the AlleyCats with plenty of life right now against Madison. Madison, though, like we said many times, they are cold-blooded. They've been in this situation a few times and come away with a lot of wins.
Well, it's games like this that the AlleyCats had circled on their schedule at the start of the season. And this is what the focus and attention to detail that we've been talking about all year. We'll see. 4.5 minutes left. I keep saying it. I'm enjoying. Sometimes I forget to talk here because I'm just watching this game and I'm like, wow, this is a great game to watch.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Now Madison getting across midfield. That's Camp. He's got Kieran. Kieran on the far side, looking for that forehand in the back of the end zone. Ooh. And there it is. That's a nice find from Benji Kieran, number 36.
Kieran
that ties it up. Yeah,
like I said, it was one of those things I talked about earlier. I don't know exactly how much in terms of statistics he's had today, but it looks like that's his first assist. But I don't know if he has any turnovers or throwaways.
Yeah, he's been really solid in the back.
Very solid for them.
Yep.
And that's a quick throw right to
Peter Graffey. Yeah, that was number 26, Peter Graffey with the score. He finds a nice hole in the defense there. He's a guy that's been around a long time for this team. So 19-19 now, 4:03 to go in the fourth. Here's the pull from left to right. AlleyCats going to bring it. And this is Sam Sohn.
You see there Keegan North just taking off downfield, trying to draw that, that monster, as they call it, the deep defender for the Radical zone. And now he's got two defenders
on him. He's got
two guys on him, so somebody's got to be open right now. Even though it's a zone, there's got to be some space there. And it looks like the AlleyCats are going with 4 handlers, so that can sometimes make it hard to find that space because the AlleyCats have 4 handlers, but at the same time, it makes the decision-making process sometimes easier because they can just, as you see here, swing the disc back and forth. When you have 3 defenders there in a zone by the handlers, and you have 4 handlers, you'll see there. Just wait for the opportunity to go over the top, and then hits North.
And there's the throw that opens it up. North.
And then he lets them reset.
He lets them reset.
And then takes the easy throw, and then they're able to swing it. And again to North. And then now
there's
the middle is free. Throw after throw after throw. See if the AlleyCats can punch it in here. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay. You're the pro, right? There's Carpenter, gets it back to Plew. Now North's going to have to make this dump. Plew brings it to the near side to Carpenter.
And we're down to 2.5 minutes left. This point's taken a while.
The AlleyCats willing to work this disc very slowly down the field if they have to. And they get it to Sohn. They got Jacobs in the end zone, but Scantling sees him.
But again, there's a good example. I mean, Plu in better position there, but he didn't necessarily need to make the throw, but he does. And if you have to make a bunch of throws, even if there's not a mark, I mean, you'll make all the open throws. You know, you'll take any throw that the defense is going to give you.
And the AlleyCats not willing to take a risk here. It's down under 2 minutes to go now in the fourth.
Yeah, this point's taking a while.
Now this could take the rest of the game the way it's going right now. Sohn.
Wow, this has just become – the more time goes off, the more important this point becomes.
So now here's Plu, gets it back to Carpenter. Yeah, the more throws they make, the more chance there is for them to make an error.
Right. We are down to 1 minute and 25 seconds left to go here. Wow. Maybe the most important point of the season right here for the AlleyCats.
Now North has to step through that double team. The AlleyCats back to midfield almost.
Yeah, now they're going backwards.
And there's the hammer over the top. They got Levi Jacobs, the man who's been behind the defense the whole game.
Wow. We have 1 minute and 8 seconds left, and the AlleyCats are up by 1. And you can see the Radicals are, they were trying to pressure them into a bad throw, and they just waited and waited and waited. And what did I tell you? It comes down to patience for the AlleyCats right now. And they were patient. They were patient. They went back about 30 yards and then made it all up in one throw.
That was textbook. Travis Carpenter gets that hammer over the top. And that was a 2 minute and 55 second point. Our man Heath Shanahan, the producer for us, giving us that info, and that was a ridiculously long point.
Well, we could be looking at history here. We'll see.
That was Levi Jacobs with that score. No better player to come up with that in this game than him. I believe that might have been his first goal here of the second half, but it was a huge one.
All right, but obviously the Radicals can tie it up. We'll see.
Yeah, there's a big forehand down the field. That's Camp with the beat. He's going to get that.
On him, and
he's going to get that. Wow. They do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Do the exact opposite and come down with a huge throw.
Well, that takes, again, a tremendous amount of just trust more than anything. It sees there, it's kind of even with them at the start. And, that's maybe not a throw that everyone would make in that situation, especially down 1. But, again, just speaks to the amount of talent that the Radicals have.
And that just was a perfect throw. And getting that forehand to go down the field and not cut out of bounds, right in the perfect spot for Camp to go get that. One of the most athletic players in the AUDL.
And you see Carpenter. He's talking to everybody here. He's talking to everybody on the line. And I'm sure he's telling them, listen, if we take care of business here, this could be a huge win.
So 54 seconds to go now in the fourth. Game all tied up at 20. AlleyCats cannot take 2:55 to go, or 2:55 to make this score.
But of course, the Radicals. They're gonna turn up the intensity on D here.
Oh yeah.
AlleyCats are gonna have to earn it here.
Carpenter gets it ahead to Gross. Gross looking downfield, makes the dump. 34 seconds to go now. Gross gets that low backhand to Carpenter, goes down on his knees.
Down to 25 seconds. Is this going to be the last point here? It sails
North,
up.
it sails. North goes up to get it. He makes that catch.
Wow. We got 15 seconds left here.
He's got Carpenter.
He's
in. He got the score. Travis Carpenter with the score. Keegan North with the assist. Gets that forehand into the end zone. Carpenter perfectly waiting on that disc to come down in the end zone. AlleyCats 11 seconds to go now, 21 to 20.
Wow.
They have their first lead in this situation against the Madison Radicals. Now the Radicals we saw them score in 7 seconds earlier in the game, but that was from midfield. Now they have 11 seconds to move this down the field and see if they can tie this up, push it into overtime.
Wow, 11 seconds is plenty of time. It's going to be interesting to see here what the AlleyCats do on defense, but we are perhaps this final point here away from what would obviously be a historic win for the Indianapolis AlleyCats franchise and what might establish themselves as potentially a playoff threat.
The winner of the Layout Ultimate Gloves is the Grizz. Congratulations and enjoy the Layout Gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. Congratulations to the Grizz on that, tweeting us about why he wanted those gloves. He will take them home.
I think what might, again, what the AlleyCats might be looking to do is at the end of the half, I think you saw the AlleyCats get sort of a floaty pull, and they were able to get 1 or 2 defenders. You obviously don't want to send everybody down there, but if you can send 1 or 2 down there to take away the first throw, the Radicals might be in a situation where they might have to launch it. And, again, the Radicals definitely have players that can make plays in the end zone.
Well, and that's what we talked about at the beginning of the game.
Right.
They have that size.
Yeah.
So if there's any team in this league, or in this division at least, that can score in 11 seconds on a big throw, it's going to be them.
We've seen it done in about 3 seconds so far in the AUDL this season. So 11 seconds is more than enough time needed. And, of course, you see Gross, you see Carpenter, you see Loskar, Wanger, Curtis. Looks like Cox in there for the AlleyCats. And here we go. Could this be the first win over their Madison Radicals for the Indianapolis AlleyCats?
The Radicals, you can see the Radicals have Wiseman. They have Pettit Scantling on the field as well.
Yes, and so the Curtis, again, hustling down.
Yep, and there's Graffy.
We got 9 seconds left. He's
Wiseman
going for it
sends
right
that
away.
backhand. That's going to go out of bounds.
We'll see. No, it's coming back in.
That's coming back in.
It's coming back. No, it's out of bounds. And it's over.
It's knocked away by Gross. And the AlleyCats have won for the first time against the Madison Radicals here at home.
Wow.
You can see they are ecstatic.
I remember I talked to Travis Carpenter before this season started, and he said that something felt different about this season. Something felt different about this team. And obviously, this means nothing in terms of earning something in the playoffs, and the AlleyCats know that. But when you are somebody who has lost to a team as good as the Radicals time and time again, and you are finally able to beat them for the first time, this is, again, has to be, without a doubt, the win of the season for any team in the American Ultimate Disc League.
Absolutely. I don't think this team cares about the playoffs at this moment.
No, certainly do not.
Everything at this moment is the fact that they finally got the Madison Radicals off their back, got that first win after years of dominance by this team. And this will put them in first place, I believe, or at least a tie for first place.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure of the tiebreakers or the situations, or if they've even played necessarily the same amount of games. But what it shows is that the AlleyCats have the talent, the athleticism, in order to beat the Madison Radicals.
Now let's take a look at our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. That has to be Keegan North to Travis Carpenter for the win. You see this replay.
And then that'll do it. Right there, it's defined their season so far. That's why they've focused on the AlleyCats and only AlleyCats. That's why they've, again, been working so hard in practice. And, again, time and time again, we've been on the call for many games where it was just, okay, right, they lost to the Radicals. Okay, that was it again. But they're able to beat the Madison Radicals.
And let's not forget that Keegan North made a great play to make that catch before he had that assist.
Yeah.
That was our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. BE Ultimate putting a different spin on Ultimate Apparel by focusing on high-performance fabrics, quality workmanship, and rapid turnaround time. They are Ultimate players making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. Visit their website at beultimate.com. So we have a lot of stats for you tonight. Levi Jacobs obviously leading the way for the AlleyCats with 4 assists and 6 goals. Rick Gross with 4 goals. Keegan North with 4 assists, obviously the biggest one, that last one, to win the game. And like we said earlier, Kip Curtis, number 8, with 2 assists and 1 goal. But lots of action for that D-line and really made a difference turning this game around. The AlleyCats struggling there in the second quarter and able to come out in the second half and really get this big win for that team.
Yes, I mean, Levi Jacobs obviously played very well today. Kip Curtis played very well, but It was obviously, it took a team effort, and patience was the key there in the fourth quarter. They got the turns. I don't exactly know how many breaks the Radicals had there in the fourth quarter. If any, it was maybe only one or two tops. But again, I'm obviously very happy to just even be here calling this game right now, and what was a very historic win for the AlleyCats franchise, and we'll see what it means for them the rest of the season.
Yeah, and
they have to play the Radicals, I believe, again. They play the Wind Chill again, and so it's going to be a very tight race here to see. I think it's pretty clear which three teams are making the playoffs.
Yes.
But we'll see who wins the division.
Yeah, and after a game like that, I almost don't want to leave, but we have to. And our next broadcast will be next Saturday, June 23rd, as the Detroit Mechanix come to town. We have all the action right here on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. We want to thank everyone here at Universe Point Productions for their hard work for us in broadcasting this game. We want to thank the Indianapolis AlleyCats for making this possible for us, and as always, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. And we will see you in 1 week. Make sure you're here with us for another exciting game.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.